folks, I'm sitting in the brand new Can Am Maverick R. This is the top of the line model. I don't know, XRS. I'm not familiar with these. I've never done a review on a Can Am. I've never really driven a Can Am, so went for a treat today. This thing makes 240 horsepower. It's got a 7-speed transmission. Only other thing I've driven with a transmission like that is a Talon, and this thing makes way more power, so this should be pretty neat. Got the crazy front suspension that everybody's talked about all over the internet, but today we're going to see what it does on the track, and then we're going to see if these things are worth owning on the East Coast. So instead of like scrolling through this crazy info dash thing, they just got little shortcut buttons over here. Engine modes, steering modes, drive modes, locker, all kinds of stuff. Full drive, shock modes. There's a lot of buttons. Transmission gears, shifter. It's like a completely different UTV. It's just different. Enormous brake pedal. All right, here we go. Behind the wheel for the first time of the Maverick R. This thing is wild looking. It's kind of low right now. Now we're in gear. Just dropped it back into drive. In full drive. Locker is not locked. Let's go see what this crazy contraption feels like. Oh wow, the gas pedal's way over to the right. Okay. Get it out of low. Does it need to be in low? Oh, there we go. All right. Get it in low. I want to put in high range, see what happens. So listen. Wow, it's very jumpy. All right, initial test run with the Maverick R. The suspension, I think is amazing. As weird as it may look, these crazy things, it really handles really well. I was going like 50 miles an hour on the backside of the track, just hauling butt. It felt fully in control the whole time. So the suspension is impressive. The brakes do not feel good, but this machine's got like 4.5 miles on it, so the brakes still need to break in, and I'm sure they'll be good after they actually have some break-in time. But the transmission takes some getting used to too. Like I said before, I've driven a Talon, and it didn't have near this much power. I mean, 240 horsepower is a lot, and so I had it in high range. High range, it seems like it's a little too much for the track. I think these things will do like 60 or something in low range because it's 7-speed. So I guess there's no real reason for you to have it in high range. I thought it would do better, but it seemed to lug the whole time. So it was kind of weird, in and out of the gas, out of the throttle. Low range, I'll have to run another lap and do it in low range and see if that's any better. Just when I started out in low range, it seemed like it was very jerky. So the transmission definitely takes some time to get used to. Not like jumping in a RZR and they're all belt driven and all is all the same. But yeah, initial thoughts, like the suspension, still trying to figure out the transmission and everything and all the settings. There's like a million buttons in that thing. It's like a rocket ship. But yeah, I can't wait to see what it does on the trail. All right, let's go run this track one more time. This time we're doing it in low range.
Scaby. It don't sound right. It sounds like it's spitting it in a sputtering.
So I just got done pushing the Maverick R pretty good in low range on the track. Now these things are 7-speed, so they should be able to run fairly quickly in low range, but I got the high temperature little warning thing to come up on the display, so that's kind of strange. It was kind of warm after we did the high range pull too, so interested to see what that's all about.
It's went ahead and cooled off a good bit now, but I mean it was 1 bar from the very top of hot.
Once again, man, just barely running this thing around. It done got hot again. It's strange.
So to touch back on the overheating issue that I talked about earlier, I knew it was going to be something stupid, something simple. So I really didn't talk much about it. Haven't said much about it on social media. Only the folks that have rode with me have known about it. But I ended up taking it back to the dealer going, hey, this thing just, it keeps overheating, and drove off, and 30 minutes later he called me. And this was hooked onto the radiator under the plastics. And you want to say, hey, I'm stupid. You should have noticed that. You couldn't see it in the radiator. Well, I didn't know I couldn't see the radiator. Nobody else could. Even the dealer didn't know it until he took the plastic off. And this is a protective cover during manufacturing process to keep them from scratching or denting the radiator.
All right, full disclosure, this is a bone stock machine. Uptain did put some different tires on it, and he put some PRP seats in it. But that's it. Other than that, full stock. All right, we are finally gonna find out if the Maverick R can rock crawl a little bit. We're gonna start out with some easy stuff, then go do some creek bed stuff, and then do some walls and stuff. So let's see what it'll do.
One of the things I do really like about this machine is it's probably about the quietest sport side-by-side inside the cab. Any other machine and you wouldn't even hear my voice right now. And the steering on this has to be the best and easiest steering in the max mode than any other machine that I've driven. Even if it's in four-wheel lock, I can drive it with one hand.
What mode do you got this thing in right now?
So I've got the engine in sport mode, which gives it a little bit of bounce in the throttle rock crawl, and it would have been probably better in normal. And then I have the transmission in normal mode and the shocks in sport plus.
Okay.
One of the things I found with the shocks, with all the high speed riding that we did, is the spring rates on it is off a little. They need to be a little stiffer. So I've mainly been riding in it sport plus because it does bottom out a little bit if you ride in comfort mode. One of the other things I like about it is this low and high speed, low and high gear selectable button. So I can run it in low and be going and click this to put it in high without having to stop. Now it will hesitate. You can't do it under speed, you know, under throttle. It's not going to be a quick change, but you don't have to come to a complete stop. And that's really nice. Now here's one of the things that I don't like about it. It came with this big touch screen, you know, I call it infotainment or just information center, but it really doesn't have much on it. It doesn't come with navigation. You have to download an app on your phone and then plug it in via USB. You can use Bluetooth your phone, and it does have radio capability, but there's no speakers in this. I felt like for, you know, 45 grand, just a couple of cheap speakers, maybe just behind my head or something, just so you had some music. I felt like that was a big fail, that they should have put some speakers in it. But outside of that, it's really just redundant, that you're getting the same information that you're getting from see, the same information you're getting off of this, maybe in a little bit more detail here, but it just doesn't really serve much of a purpose. There's just not a lot of info here to make it worth having. It's just not a lot. Would have liked to have seen maybe CarPlay on this, because I know they announced on the Spider, the three-wheeled motorcycle they have, and the high-end CD they have, has CarPlay, and I would have liked to have seen CarPlay on this. That would have been game-changing to have CarPlay. So maybe there'll be an update for it soon, since they license CarPlay. Maybe they'll do an update, and this one day will have CarPlay on it. But right now, it really doesn't serve much of a purpose.
All right, folks, my turn to try to do a little rock crawling in the Maverick R. I got on whatever modes that David had it in. Normal, harder on the suspension. So see how she crawls. I got it in all. All right. Then low, first gear. Seems kind of high geared and low. Trying to go slow. I don't know the difference between 4x4 trail and 4x4 active. I'm not sure. crawling very much. You gotta kind of hit everything with a little momentum. Kind of like the Pro R on 37s. All right, just got done doing my first little bit of rock crawling with the Maverick R, and it's one of those things where you almost got to kind of keep momentum going. You almost kind of rock bounce it a little bit, because otherwise the clutch like tries to engage and disengage so much. I had it in manual mode, so it stayed in first gear the whole time, but first almost still isn't low enough, and these tires are barely bigger than stock. So what are these, a 33?
Yes.
Yeah, and the stock's a 32, so it's just, it could be lower in first gear. But other than that, I have no idea what 4x4 mode and 4x4 trail active, whatever the two modes are for full drive. I couldn't really tell the difference between them. We're going to have to pull it up on something and then kind of figure that out. But I mean, it went up it. You know, it does have these Rockies on it, so that might help. But I don't know. We'll go do some high-speed trail stuff with it now and see how it does with that. All right, this is my favorite little test area, high-speed trails, making some S-turns and stuff, picking it sideways, favorite spot. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in, let's see, steering mode is max. We'll put it back in two-wheel drive. Oh, well, there's a locker we weren't using earlier. Okay, drive mode, I'm gonna put it in Sport Plus, so it can get real rowdy. Sport Plus on the shocks, Sport Plus on the engine, all the stuff, two-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive, see what this thing does.
Dirt is delicious.
All right, that was rowdy. That's rough right there. It just soaked it right up. That was impressive. We'll make another pass. We'll let the dust clear.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed in you on that last run, Matt. Could have went just a little bit faster. Looked like I was driving.
It defaulted itself into four-wheel drive.
Huh?
It was in four-wheel drive.
Was it?
Yeah.
You didn't slide at all coming around that corner.
Yeah. All right, one thing I do not like about this setup is it like defaults. Every time you turn the machine off, it's not on the same settings you originally had it on. So that time I was trying to drift around the turns and it was in full-wheel drive. So that I really do not like. Okay, probably my favorite thing about this machine is when you're sitting on the line getting ready to go, you got it in your Sport Plus drive mode and you pop it into gear and then it just sounds ridiculous. It starts like kind of spinning and popping in the anti-lag. That sound right there is so freaking cool. I like it. All right, here we go. Let's make some cool passes. David Uptain over there getting dusted. He's taking one for the team today, being camera guy.
Yeah, started out as an off-road enthusiast and influencer, and Here I am being Busted Knuckles camera cleaner.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised with the performance on the high-speed dirt trails. Thing you can flick it sideways. You can feel it's a heavier machine. It's longer. It's wider. So you got to be a little more careful. But man, you can just kick it sideways effortlessly. Hold it sideways. Felt the control the whole time. There's a rough section here at the end of the track. That's pretty rough, and I mean I just freaking flat foot through there and wouldn't feel any of it. So it was pretty impressed with the suspension and just the overall performance as far as it has to do with the high-speed dirt trails. But that's what it's made to be, you know, fast in the fast stuff.
That's all right, Matt. I won't. Now look at it. He gonna start going up the rocks. I ain't even there yet.
All right, folks, we're on one of our favorite spots for testing these new machines, and that is Rock Creek. It is super dry, probably driest I've ever seen it. But we're gonna do some technical rock crawling, put this thing in full locked, put her in low auto, and see how it does with the shifting, see if we can get it to die on us, and just see how everything works with this, you know, technical rock crawling stuff, because that's what a lot of people use these for on the East Coast. See how this thing does doing some technical rock crawling. We got it locked front and rear, see how the steering works. We're gonna take it out of manual mode and put it in auto mode. All right, it's in low range. All right, driving mode's normal, shock mode. Maybe we want flex, so let's just put comfort. That'll probably be easy enough. Engine mode, normal. All right. See how she does. I'm gonna leave it in auto, see how it does with that, see if we get her to die. Just try to technical rock crawl it, nice and easy, just crawling. Engaging and disengaging in the transmission. Completely different than driving a CVT. It's not even close to the same. Trailing arms length way down. I'm just gonna stretch them all up for whoever buys it next. Right here, see if we can get her to go.
Oh, going to get further right.
On me. It's shifting. I thought it had like gone to neutral or something, but it's just trying to upshift. Alright, let's put her in manual. See if we can get her to crawl up this like we want.
way more difficult and challenging than I thought it would be.
Well, I feel like I made that way more difficult than it had to be. I tried to do it in auto mode and it kept wanting to engage and disengage the clutch. I felt like it kept going to neutral or something. It was super weird. I finally put it in manual mode and it was a little bit better. Not great, but finally made it up through there. Just a little technical spot, and the trailing arms are so freaking big on these things. They hang down super low, so that's not helpful. So I was dragging on those a pretty good bit. So got one more spot up here, see how it does.
It's like holds my phone and maybe a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, there's like no space in these.
But I mean, it holds,
anything.
how many is that?
But he's got
It holds 26 Slim Jims, the owner's manual, and a bag of 3 greasy chicken fingers.
Yeah.
That's what you can fit in there.
Yeah, so don't plan on going on long trips and storing everything in what they got factory.
You have,
no
you know,
space.
you have a cup holder in the floorboard of the passenger seat,
Well, that's
which most
good.
people don't see, and you have the 2 there.
Yeah.
So plenty of storage for my Diet Mountain Dews.
Yeah. Needs more storage, but you can get bags and stuff for that. No big deal.
I mean, you got an open box there with no lid. You can stuff random stuff up there and put some duct tape on it.
I hope it doesn't catch on fire.
So what I didn't tell you, and I haven't done it yet, so I talked to an employee of Can Am about this little hood piece that falls off. So that hood piece on a RZR, it's screwed down because it's just to get to your bus bar, your electronics, your fuses, all that. So there was no reason for a latch. And what he told me to do was basically drill a hole and put a push pin in it, which makes sense. But, you know, again, it just goes into one of those, you know, $45,000 high-end machine, and I'm just told to screw a hole in it and put a push pin in it.
Surprised I didn't tell you just put some zip screws in there.
Well, I mean, part of me just wanted to throw some duct tape on it, not worry about it, and go on, because they do make black duct tape that would have blended right in. And then I could have called it quadruple black.
Now, this is what the hot rod guys do. They go no hood.
Let it air out.
Air out your battery. Well, this thing is just not a rock crawler. The clutch keeps doing weird stuff, and I even had a message pop up on the dash that said something about the clutch, but it would get in a bind trying to go up a ledge or something, just would stop moving altogether, no matter how much gas you gave it, whatever. It seemed like you had to like give it momentum to get up anything. So this is like Moab or something, unless you're gonna give it some gas to get up obstacles, would be a nightmare. So yeah, not so good on the rock crawling, but we got some walls and stuff over there called Little Moab. We're gonna go check that out and see if you can make saves, because I think this thing, you have to press the brake pedal to get it into reverse. So that's gonna be tough. Something you're gonna have to find a workaround for if you're gonna do any kind of hill climb stuff or anything, you know, wall difficult. All right, here we are. One of my favorite spots for testing, Little Moab, and not too excited about it for this one because the Maverick R, you have to hit the brake in order to get it in reverse. So a save is almost impossible. And I don't want to tear up his $40-something thousand machine, but I'm glad that David trusts me with his machine, especially since I think it's already sold.
And a quick footnote, State Farm, if you're watching this, it was 3 days ago that I called you.
Yeah, it will not go in reverse unless you hit the brake. So, got to be quick with the brake. This seems like a horrible idea. But it's for you folks to know whether these will do what they're supposed to or not. So bad once I got up there. It's just sketchy knowing that someone will have to come up with a tune to delete that whole being shoved in reverse and save it thing without hitting the brakes. I do not like that at all.
one good note I have is it climbs really well, but it's still sketchy. And the fact that you cannot throw it in reverse without hitting the brake no matter what you do is very scary. But I mean, it climbed good. I was surprised. And the steering, even this thing locked all the way, you know, locked, steering's still great. So I think I'm more impressed with the steering than anything else as far as technical rock crawling goes. All right, folks, back in the Maverick R on the track. This is our final test of the day. I want to come back over here while it's not in limp mode and not overheating and really see what it can do. The bad news is that they have shut down kind of half the track where I can't make a full lap to see if it's faster than other machines we've tested in the past, which stinks. But yeah, we're gonna go out and play on the track and see how it does. I expect it to excel. All right, folks, well, final thoughts on the Maverick R. I'm gonna tell you what, this is, if you're looking for a race machine, then this might be the ticket. It is fast, it's got awesome steering, suspension works great. But if you want something to do double duty where you're gonna trail ride, especially on the East Coast, and race, I just don't think this is it. I mean, it didn't do the rock crawling stuff near as good as what we would like. You can't save it by throwing it in reverse. There's just so many negatives when it comes to doing technical stuff, trail riding like we do, that just wouldn't work out. But if you're looking for a race machine, you're out in the freaking desert or the dunes or something, I mean, this thing would be a mean machine. And I think they'll get better with the, hopefully with some transmission tuning and things like that, but and maybe deleting the whole having to hit the brake before you put it in reversed deal. But yeah, overall, fun machine to drive. It's a blast. The transmission is just super weird, and you know, like Uptain said, it's kind of like a Honda Talon with more gears and a lot more power. So for me, I'm still going to choose the Pro R, I think, over this, just for drivability and being able to do all the rock crawling stuff and, you know, have a versatile machine more than just, you know, a race machine, desert machine.